Hello, 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 everyone. I hope I am live. I hope I am broadcasting on YouTube live to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining wherever you are in the world. As we always say, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and welcome to the final community call of 2023, the last one this year, and our December community call. We have a lot to talk about today. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about today, and I'm very excited. It's been a lot of hard work over the past few weeks, and we might as well dive into it. One thing you might have noticed is a brand new kind of look to these slides, and I hope you like them. It's a warning of things to come, I guess, later on in this call. Good morning, everyone. Let's dive into it. So, the community call this year, the last one, let's talk about different things. As always, we look on 3 different areas. We actually thought about today maybe just doing one area, but we decided that we do need to cover over some of the stuff that we have covered and we've worked on in other areas. So we might as well just stay with this for now. And then we'll spend a bit more time at the SubQuery network section at the end, which is where all the announcements are. So, core products. What have we done recently? Well, we've added a bunch new networks. A cache is one of the major networks that we've added in Cosmos. Another big one is Concordium. Concordium is a brand new layer 2 network. They were a big addition to the family. It's a new SDK there. They work on Rust smart contracts, and getting this one ready was a lot of work from our team, but we're looking forward to supporting their ecosystem. We got a grant from the Concordium team for this specifically. We also added Migaloo, another Yumi, Mars, and a bunch more others, which brings us, I think when I just checked today, we're at 119 different layer 1s, 119 networks that SubQuery supports, which makes us the largest data indexer out there in terms of the number of networks that we support. So wherever you are building, we provide support for you. Just go check out our website page, subquery.network/supported networks or supported networks, and you will see them all listed there. In terms of other SDK things, we're doing a few bits of work here. One of the main ones and a new feature that we've released this week is GraphQL schema migrations. This is a developer feature. Sometimes developers will want to make changes to their projects at specific heights. It might be because they do a contract upgrade. It might be because they want to change their project, but they also want to keep the historical data. And part of those changes might include changes to the database schema, the GraphQL schema. You want to add a new field or update a field or add a new entity as well. We have now got first-class support for this, where you can automatically apply these GraphQL schema changes at specific block heights. The link to the documentation about this feature is there. I'll also copy it into the chat window. Let me just do that quickly. Let me find it. And then you guys can go check that out if you're a developer. That is a cool feature that will definitely make your life easier. In terms of other things that we've got, well, one of the big new features that we did is we've decreased the prices for our managed service. Now the managed service costs about 20% less. We've decreased our price from 25 cents per compute hour to 20 cents per compute hour, which makes it more competitive. And we've also added the ability for customers to increase and change the compute units on the managed service. And this is a great example. So if you want to index historic data very quickly, you might temporarily increase the compute, the CPUs, the memory assigned to your indexer in the managed service. It will then index a lot faster. And then once you catch up, you can decrease that compute to save money, to save cost, because it's unnecessary. So it's saving resources when and where you need it. Now, let's talk about the second area, the community growth aspect of SubQuery in the last month. There's a bunch to talk about. Some new customers, MetaDefender is one of them. Stable, I don't know how to pronounce them quite. We've also got Enquinter, and we've done also a bunch of new example projects. For example, snapshot voting. We have Safe, which is a big multi-sig wallets provider. We even use it ourselves. We have Galaxy NFT. Galaxy, you guys will be well familiar with. It's a way that you can NFT incentivize and provide rewards for your community. And of course, Polygon's Plasma Bridge, we built an example project for that as well. These are all on our website. They're great examples of projects that we've created walkthroughs for, and it is all material that helps developers learn how to use SubQuery by using a hands-on project. Now, finally, we have also been doing a lot of Twitter Spaces recently. So I've done some social-fi spaces with Fantech and Relation, also with Roll and Galaxy. I've done one of real-world assets with Centrifuge and Polytrade. And there's a bunch more coming up soon. We're trying to do more Twitter Spaces here, or X Spaces as they're called now, generally every week or every second week. So stay tuned, hop on there. For the one that we did yesterday with real-world assets with Centrifuge and Polytrade, I think we had about 100 participants at some point. So it's great to hear. There was a very interesting conversation. And next time, stay tuned and join that conversation. Now, let's get into the meat of this presentation, and that is the network side. Now, we've been doing a lot of work on the SubQuery network. Quickly, before I dive into our bigger news, I'll talk about some of the new features we have in our network. Firstly, we've made some improvements to our Kepler network app. Now you can use 4 different wallets to access Kepler. You can use MetaMask, Wallet Connect, Talisman, Rainbow Wallet. And if you know Wallet Connect, it basically means you can use any wallet. It's more of an open standard. So essentially, any wallet out there that supports Wallet Connect, you can now use and connect to the SubQuery Kepler network app using that. Now, let me remind everyone that you guys can participate today. We've unlocked the SubQuery Kepler network app to anyone. You can go in there and you can swap your USDC for KSQT, a kind of a pre-mainnet token. You can go in there and you can start delegating now. You can delegate to your favorite indexes, and you can start earning quite a good return on investment today in the Kepler app. We just had to add some more tokens to the pool yesterday because people have been picking up KSQT tokens quite a bit recently. But it's all there and it's all ready to use. So don't miss out. Go in there, get some KSQT, try out the Kepler network app. And remember, all these KSQT tokens that you swap for or are rewarded in, they will be burnable and exchangeable for SQT tokens when the SubQuery network launches. Some other improvements, well, we have updated the Explorer page to provide a search box to summarize the rewards to each project, the number of indexes providing support for each project, and generally improve the UX for consumers and delegators. We've done a lot of work recently to make the UX better for delegators and consumers, and I hope you are able to participate in that. Now, let me remind everyone that we run Kepler office hours generally every second week. We've been a bit busy recently, but tune in on Discord. It's an open time where Ian, the CTO, and I hop on, and it's open mic. Anyone can ask any questions from all of us. It's often at a time that we share news to indexes or walk through different questions from indexes from Discord. So it's a great time to hear and understand what indexes are thinking, what delegators are thinking, and get kind of some raw ideas from us at SubQuery in terms of what we're planning, how we're looking at things, and what we're working on. So that's the bulk of the presentation. Now let's talk about one more thing. We've been doing a lot of work recently behind the scenes to really get ready for the launch of our mainnet. And this is a big process for us. We've been working hard to make sure that the launch is as successful as it can be. And we've been thinking a bit in the past about how we want that to work out. So let's kind of talk about that now. Well, we'll start with, we're going to be unveiling the new evolution of the SubQuery network today. And this is a big step forward for us. It's a shame. This is actually a video, but it doesn't show on the slides and the tool that we're using. But anyway, we can go into this. Let's just kind of, before we talk about the next evolution, let's kind of take a step back and see what we've kind of learned. So today, SubQuery is, it's the largest Web3 data indexer out there, okay, in terms of the number of networks that we support. Now, we provide fast, flexible, reliable, and decentralized APIs for our open source indexing SDK. Now, we've done this for a long time. It's been almost 3 years. And it's something that we put a lot of effort into. We're always trying to be fast, provide the better features, and work everywhere that where you build. Our SDK is faster than others, has more features and supports more networks as a result. And we power applications and analytics workloads of hundreds of customers for over almost 120 networks. I was hoping we hit that today. We didn't quite make it. It's 119 today, but almost over 120 different networks and counting. Every week it's more. So we've done a lot of work in the past. Now, how do we work with customers? Well, we generally operate as a connection. We connect our customers with the data that they want from blockchains. And we support almost 120 networks. The SubQuery SDK sits between our customers, and they might be running block explorers, decentralized applications, mobile applications, analytics tools, wallets, NFT marketplaces, prediction markets, DeFi applications, social fi applications, anything under the sun. We do work for a lot of different verticals, but we connect our customers with the data from blockchains. And we've been delivering and testing our revolutionary network for a long time. We're doing the SubQuery Kepler network, which you guys will be well familiar with. It's working now. It's got almost 100 indexes, providing data for over 30 projects, some of them production projects out there, and it's working well. It's our decentralized data network, connecting consumers of data to decentralized and verifiable indexes. It's working now. It's already proven, okay? We're basically ready to launch a mainnet if we just did decentralized data indexing. But we've realized that this is just the start. We think the SubQuery network will be so much bigger than this. And the reason why is we've been talking to a lot of these our customers recently. And one thing that we've learned that Web3 kind of has a dirty little secret. Leading Web3 products are utterly reliant on high-performance data indexes and RPC providers. Now, RPC providers are endpoints that people use to connect to blockchains. RPC providers are very crucial, okay? They're the main interface between the apps you use and the blockchains themselves. You use them to submit transactions, and they work behind the scenes. Your application might be making dozens of requests per second or per time you open it to RPC providers for information and to submit transactions. Now, one thing is that we've realized is that RPC providers and data sources are very centralized still. They're very centralized and still somewhat controlled by big institutions. Now, a good example of this is Cosmos, for example. Well, there's two different ways that this kind of manifests. So one is like Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is about a 12 terabyte node. So to run an Ethereum node, you need 12 terabytes, which is a huge amount of size. And what this means is it tends towards large-scale commercial level RPC providers. There's not many of them. There's like less than 10 of them. They're pretty big. They all run in hyperscale data centers. They're big corporates, and they are huge, okay? They're great. They're performant. They work well, but they're centralized. They're kind of the antithesis of what we're trying to do in Web3. On the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, you have things like in Cosmos. Now, in Cosmos, the RPC ecosystem is a lot less mature, and you find that most validators are running RPCs on the side for free as like an advertisement. Now, the problem with this is that these validators aren't running them to high reliability, and they're also trying to make them as cheap as possible. So that means that they're pruning them. They're discarding historic information. and they're putting really low rate limits, which means that when you start indexing data or running an app against it, it's not really performant enough. Now, both these outcomes on both sides, it doesn't really work. It's not what we want. And so we spied an opportunity with SubQuery to potentially solve this problem. And so I kind of want to share with you today our new vision and what we want SubQuery to be in the future. And what we're building right now is for SubQuery to be the decentralized data network of Web3. Our plan is to decentralize everything, okay? Decentralize the future. So today, SubQuery is just data indexing. When you're building an application, any of those four I mentioned before, you might use SubQuery. You also use an RPC. SubQuery itself relies on RPCs. Even though SubQuery is decentralized, there's these centralized RPC providers that kind of undermine the whole thing. But again, what I mentioned, we want to decentralize everything. So what we're trying to do is we're going to move it so that we decentralize both indexes and RPCs. So there'll be thousands of decentralized indexes and RPCs providing and simplifying the data layer for your applications. So through the SubQuery network, there'll be load balance, so customers benefit from a single endpoint, but have multiple, if not hundreds, of redundant, decentralized providers that are providing it faster, more cost-effectively, and more efficiently. So before I mentioned this, I use this like diagram quite a bit, and I love it because it shows you like the infrastructure stack of your app. Your app, you have your UI, it might be like React Native or something. You deal through all these like middleware, so these four different like things. Like you might have indexes, RPC providers, some oracles, for example, for price feeds, storage providers, off-chain storage. You have your virtual machines like EVM, and your blockchains like Ethereum, Polygon, whatever. And at the moment, indexes operate inside there. But what we want to do for SubQuery is we want to look at also providing support for RPC. So doing this. Okay, this is what we're trying to make the SubQuery network into. Okay, so our purpose here is to innovate in Web3 infrastructure so builders can decentralize the future. They can decentralize the vast majority of their applications. And how we'll do it? Well, we'll provide an open market for infrastructure providers and their consumers. So there'll be three main areas. We have low barriers to entry. Any node operator can join as a provider. They could be an indexer, they could be an RPC provider. In many cases, they might be both. We'll incentivize performance and costs. We'll reward node operators with requests based on those metrics. And by doing so, we'll drive down these values. We'll drive up performance, but drive down costs across the network. And because we kind of make it open to node providers to index any project or provide support for any network, there'll be a constant expansion of new chains. Node operators are free to onboard new chains, and they will do so because they will want first mover advantage. When there's a new chain out there, I imagine node operators will rush to provide indexing support and RPC support for that chain. And that will constantly expand the size of the SubQuery network. Now, how it works, very similar to the token flows, what we're currently doing. Consumers will pay SQT for their plans and requests. Within the staking pool, we will divvy out rewards based on the delegation, the stake, and they will go to indexes and RPC providers. And of course, delegators will get a cut in that. It's very similar to what we have today. We're just adding RPC providers. But the good thing about our network is that it's all very relevant to this. It doesn't really have to change much. But the best thing about this is the opportunity that we have. You know, we're not just building a decentralized data indexer here. We are building decentralized RPCs as well. Now, this is an unbelievably massive opportunity for SubQuery to grow at a huge pace and to decentralize and provide alternatives for all of these other players, for all of these other verticals. And that's why we're so excited about this. This is why I've been a bit quiet recently, because we've been working on this for some time. Now, why can we do this? Well, we've already got most of the building blocks, right? We've already got most of the pieces. Now, RPCs are the main interface of blockchain. We've already got the rewards and pricing rails. So The same way that you get rewarded for serving requests from your indexer can work for RPC providers. It's the same process. Transaction-based pricing, subscription-based pricing, one-off payments, all that's already sorted. We've already got that done. We've already got verification of services. We have cryptographic verification that two indexes are providing the same data sets. A lot of that stuff will work for RPC providers. It's still there. And it's dispute resolution. When an indexer makes a mistake or is malicious or hurts the network, we've got a process for dealing with that. And that same process is pretty applicable to RPC providers as well. You see here that we've already got most of these things. This is why SubQuery is uniquely suited to this. We've built and deployed and tested all of these building blocks already in Kepler. We've already done this stuff. So it's just one step further for us to make this work for RPCs. And also, when we talk to our node operators, when we talk to our indexers, a lot of them are already running RPCs. They're already running validators and other node types across different networks. They're already doing this. So for them, running an RPC is something they're already doing. It's something that makes sense for them. And they can easily add that to the SubQuery network. So now let's talk about how we're going to do this. So we've got 4 steps right now. First one is we're going to launch a mainnet with data indexing. We're going to launch this very, very soon. We're hoping in early February to launch the mainnet. Early February, we're going to launch the mainnet with everything running. We're going to migrate all our indexes, all of our projects seamlessly across there. We're going to launch a token around there. We're going to open up access to all. Phase 2, we're going to support RPCs. We're going to enable that support, okay? And we're going to onboard our first RPCs for some of the main EVM-based networks, and they're going to go live in the network and be fully decentralized in phase 2. Phase 2, we're going to enhance RPCs. Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay? So we're not just running RPCs in our network. Let's talk more about what we're doing to enhance RPCs. And this is when I get excited. So RPCs are really old-fashioned bits of software. They're really inefficient, okay? And the performance of applications, including data indexes like SubQuery, has long been limited by the performance of RPCs. Now, RPCs have been designed for validation of blocks. They haven't been designed for query performance and throughput. And that hurts in the ecosystem. We're starting to hit the limitations right now. So we're going to deliver the SubQuery data node, which will be a heavily forked version of RPCs that will optimize heavily for querying rather than validation consensus. It'll be open source and it'll be designed to work natively on decentralized networks like the SubQuery network. Okay, so for example, we optimize heavily for calls like ETH get logs, which are very common query calls. And also allow you to do things like the ability to filter transactions in a single API call. We'll try to make it as open as possible. We'll share more about this in the coming weeks. So if you're a developer out there that wants to participate and get involved in this, we'll make sure our developer guild has a setup for you guys. But working together, the SubQuery indexer and the data node will massively increase the performance of indexing, and it will supercharge the speed of your apps. It will remove a limitation right now on dApp development and dApp performance by rethinking the RPCs, rethinking the main interface to the blockchains. Now, the final phase, phase 4, is democratizing RPCs. And I like this because this is where actually it really holds true to what we're trying to do at SubQuery. We're trying to bring Web3 to all. Now, what you might have mentioned before, or what I've talked about before, is that RPCs, especially like Ethereum, they are huge. They're like 12 terabytes of storage, which means that they are limited to the realm of massive corporates, massive centralized RPC providers. Just they're so large. It's very hard to buy and acquire 12 terabytes of SSD storage and make sure that runs well. It's expensive, especially in cloud providers and data centers. So there's actually a Ethereum improvement, number 4444, out there to solve this. And they proposed a few years back to actually discard the historical state, which everyone was like, this can't happen, right? Because we can't dare hop on a system where if you haven't interacted with the chain recently, you might not be able to find your NFT because the RPCs have discarded that history. And they kind of left it there in an unsolved state because they never quite figured out how to do this. Now we're going to democratize RPCs and hopefully solve this in the same approach. And what we're going to do is we're going to shard our data node. Now, sharding means splitting up. It's a fancy word for splitting up. And it means that what we're going to do is we're going to take the data node and the 12 terabytes of history. Imagine you got all these years of history, which takes 12 terabytes worth. And we're going to try to break it down. So break down not just the block ranges, but also the state, and allow you to run just one part of that. I want to run a data node that only serves requests from this part. Now you can already kind of do this today with RPCs, but you can only shard the most recent blocks. You can only prune information. You can't say, I just want to do this historic block. You can only say today, I want the most recent. And that doesn't quite work because no one has the historic stuff. So with the sharding stuff, it means that we can make the running of RPCs a lot cheaper because you don't have to have 12 terabytes of history. The data node is more performant. But where it gets magical is this is designed for the network. And by yourself, I might only have 1 million block worth of history, which is only a year or so. But on the network, there might be many providers. And with the combination of us all, we have the whole history. Okay, I have this range. Joe over there has that range. Bob over there has that range. And Alice, of course, has the most recent stuff. And the network will be intelligent enough to deal with that and to route requests to the correct RPC provider on the network to serve that answer. Now, it's a solution for EIP 444, so it's 4 fours. And we're hoping to make it more cheaper to run RPCs, more easier to operate them, and therefore increase drive down the costs and make it more democratized, make this ecosystem more democratized. And this will help, right? There's a huge surge in interest in layer 2s and rollups, and networks that have very fast block times and high transaction throughputs. And this problem is only going to get worse. So with our sharded data nodes, with our efforts to democratize RPCs, we hope to do a lot of work here to solve this problem. So that's some of the work we're going to be doing. That's our 4 steps. There's some questions I can see already around how long does it take between the start of phase 1 and phase 2. They might be at the same time. We might launch a network for RPC support. I hope we're trying to do that ourselves. I think more realistically, we might have like a week between the two, just for safety, just to make sure everything goes online safely. But essentially between phase 1 and phase 2, it should be a matter of days. All right, so we talked about how we're going to do this, the benefits we're going to bring, cost efficiency. The sharded data nodes will decrease the price of accessing RPCs in the ecosystem. It will bring more reliability and scalability. You're not limited to a few expensive and risky centralized service providers. There could be thousands of RPC providers on the network. And it means faster apps. You know, with the data node, we'll be doing a lot more effort into optimization to make the query speed faster. And with the network, there'll be more nodes closer to closer to your users, which makes your applications run faster for your users. So these are some of the benefits that we look forward to bringing to the RPC provider community. Now, everyone's got a question, right? When will this launch? I mentioned we're going to try to launch the network early February next year. And we'll be doing announcements around the token launch, the SQT token. We'll be talking to you guys on the 20th of December about this, how it's going to work. But it's very much on the horizon. I know everyone's been waiting for this for a long time. I hope you can understand how much effort we've been putting into this, the vision that we have put forward today, the effort we're going to be doing here. But on the 20th of December, you'll have all the details around how we're going to launch the SubQuery token and make sure it's in the hands of our community ahead of the network launching. It's going to be a very exciting time. So it's been a long journey with everyone here. I know I'm very much looking forward to this as much as you are. There's a lot of stuff happening in this last few weeks. I hope you really enjoy the new brand identity. I hope you really enjoy the new designs. We've actually just updated our website as well, so please head to our website right now and check out the new designs, the new taglines. Everything I've just shared with you today is kind of gone on the website now. You might have to refresh your cache, but it looks really cool now. And there's a bunch of stuff going out there. So let's talk about one more thing. The Zealy code word for those that are in Zealy. Make sure you go plug that in for a bunch of extra points. SubQuery evolution LFG, that is your code word. Don't miss out. I'll leave it here on the screen for a bit. As always, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I can see all your comments. If not, I'll be hanging around in Discord. We're very excited about this. And let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything that's not clear. But there's a bunch of stuff about this. There'll be announcements going out in about 30 minutes about this, and you should see some coverage. I'm very excited that we're finally at this point and we can finally share this with you all, with the community, because it's been a long way to get here. And finally, congratulations. Oh, I need to refresh this, but the actual congratulations is to April the 4th. April, I think it's IV, like this. You have been selected as the instant winner of 500 XP on Zealy. Congratulations. And I think message Suchi or someone on Discord to get that and get your prize there. Now, any more questions and answers? It's a lot of work from us. It's a very exciting time. I'm very excited about it. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you guys think, especially in Discord, will be in general. And yeah, look out for the announcements. There's a very long form article coming out in 30 minutes that kind of goes through the detailed thinking of how we're going to do this and what our reasoning is around this. I enjoyed writing it. It's hard to write. There's a lot of information in it, a lot of like thoughts. So it's hard to write things short when you want to cover a lot of topics. But I really hope you'll read it and appreciate it. But there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's a very exciting time for us at SubQuery. As always, join the Discord. You can catch us in there. Connect us on Twitter, or now X as it's called. And check out our blog, especially in about 30 minutes time for the new announcements. And I look forward to seeing you on the 20th of December when we share the detailed instructions about how we're going to launch the SubQuery token. I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It's a pleasure talking to you, as always, every month. This is the last one for 2023. So wherever you are in the world, if you do or don't celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. Anyway, I hope sure you have a wonderful New Year's period. Spend time with your family. Hopefully, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, don't be too cold. In the Southern Hemisphere, like some of the SubQuery team, make sure you head to the beach and enjoy it there. Have a great time, and happy holidays, happy New Year's. I'll talk to you on the 20th of December. See you then. Thank you very much for joining us on this journey. Bye, everyone. It's great to talk to you.